Good morning, English 10. Today I wanted to help you with your choice novel essays. Since so many of you are doing different topics, I thought I would demonstrate the first steps in developing an essay. The first step in writing any essay is deconstructing the prompt. Let me demonstrate how to do that. First thing is to read the entire prompt. Today I will be responding to this prompt here. What is the theme of the novel? In your thesis, state the theme of the novel and explain how the theme is developed. To support your thesis, provide specific examples of scenes from the novel in which the author developed the theme. Explain how the author uses elements of fiction to illustrate the theme. Well, after having read it, the next step is to identify any power verbs. Power verbs are words that tell you what type of response you need to create. Some examples of power verbs include analyze, identify, compare, contrast, explain, evaluate, etc. So as I look through, I need to state, which is not really a power verb, but it is reminding me that I need to do something. I need to explain, okay. I need to support my thesis. I need to provide specific evidence. I need to explain again here. So I've bolded these words, or at least attempted to help me remember what it is I need to do. Okay, so I need to state, explain, and support. Next, I check the prompt for content I need to include in the essay. So I need to state the thesis. That's obvious. And in the thesis, I need to include the theme and how it's developed. And that means, if you look at the bottom, those options that we have written about all semester. Characterization, setting, conflicts, symbolism, setting, imagery. It could be any of these depending on what my evidence says. So those are things I need to mention in the thesis if I'm going to talk about them. Okay, so it also says I need to provide specific examples. Well, I can use this information to work with my graphic organizer. So if I need to state my thesis, that's the first thing I need to do. Now, for theme, I've identified a theme by going through the steps we've practiced in class. And if you need help with that, we still have those handouts attached to your lit discussion prompts. So in a graphic organizer, and here's one that you could use. I've printed up another one for you here. They're relatively the same thing. They just aren't very digital friendly. Typing in them becomes difficult. So I've printed them up for you. Whichever one you want to use, I can make another copy of if you don't have it. But here's the one I'm going to type in today. It says in the introduction, when I'm starting the essay, I don't need to worry about a hook or a background just yet. I just need to start with a thesis that's going to guide me. And this graphic organizer gives you an example of how to write it. So in the novel, whatever your novel is, Lord of the Flies, author uses, and then I need to include the different components I'm going to discuss for theme. So in the novel, blank, whatever your novel is, the author, blank, develops the theme of, and remember, theme is not one word, through the use of, and then we can insert setting, characters, whatever it is we're going to focus on. You may have 2 or 3 ways the theme was developed, or you may choose to focus on just characters, for example, plot or conflict. Whatever I put here, let's just use math for a second, A, B, and C. Those are going to be my topics for my body paragraphs. So I can simply write those topics in A, B, and then the third one would be C. So whatever I put into this paragraph will be focused on the first content topic. That topic may be setting characterization conflicts. Let's just take conflicts, for example. If that's what your evidence suggests, through the use of different character conflicts, I would talk about in A, the first character conflict that shows the theme of is, okay, and then I'd go through my evidence, explaining what my evidence is, giving a quote and citing it, explaining how the quote proves my claim, and then wrapping it up. For the beginning of your essay, you don't need to worry about all the fluffy stuff. You simply need to focus on identifying what your thesis is and the main things you're going to use to develop that thesis. Then plug those main things in at the topic sentences for each of your body paragraphs to help you focus on developing that point. Now, your topics are going to depend on what your evidence has. So if you don't have enough evidence from your journal entries, you may need to start with that today. I know this wasn't the best video, but I did it on the fly, and I hope it helps.